Okay, so I just want to make this a quick video, but I wanted to go over both NIO and Tesla. Um, Interesting moves in both here over the past, say, couple of weeks. We've seen significant moves in both after a big decline in both. Obviously, NIO has seen a major drop all the way from almost $11 down to $2.82 where it currently trades. But I want to look at these stocks and see what moves they have for the future, because we in both NIO and Tesla we are starting to see some good bullish trends, which could maybe provide you with some gains here in the future in your portfolio. So let's go ahead and dive into NIO. So we're just going to stay with the 4-hour chart to start here. And ever since we saw this drop from the 1060 mark back in March, it has been nothing but downhill and struggles for NIO. Once we broke, especially this $6 mark, it was a very important support. We really just had nowhere to go but down and down and down until we finally stepped in and saw some sort of momentum. And so why is it now that I'm starting to see a good opportunity to buy? And when we're looking at this 4-hour chart, we have broken through a pretty significant resistance here at 260. Okay, you can see it acted as a good support here for multiple days, and then we broke it and it acted as a resistance. And as we came back up on it on Tuesday, we broke through but could not hold above. And here on Wednesday, we saw nothing but green, up at some points over 10%, closing the day at about 8.33%. And so we're really just starting to show some significant strength. From the bottom to where we are now, you're looking at about a 20% gain, but I still think that there could be more to come in the future. That's not to say that we're just going to rally on back up to $10. I do not think that is plausible in the near term at all, but there is definitely some money to be made if you play the stock right. So let's say that we keep going up. What are some levels to look at? I would definitely say the $3 level. With penny stocks, you're definitely going to be looking at the 50 and dollar increment levels. So that is very important. Next level is the one that we're currently, trading at, kind of, sorta, with the after hours movement, is right in here around the 280 mark. So you can see we had a wick on it here on the 4-hour chart. We'll go ahead and move it into the hourly so we can get a little bit closer and see this price action as it occurred. But you can see it acted as a support back here a couple of times. Once we broke it, you can see it acted as a resistance, and today it acted as a resistance. So we broke through this 280 level, sold back down, consolidated on yesterday's highs, and then moved higher. So if we can hold this 280 mark, I would not be too surprised if we moved back up closer to this $3 mark, and then from there evaluate to see how we got to the $3 mark and see if we can push up around this 310 to 320 mark and see how it is that we fare in this zone. If we were to come back down tomorrow morning or on Friday, I would want to see us not go lower than today's dip right in here around 270. I'd want to see us hold right in here and not make a lower low, because then we're going to start to see these hourly moving averages come back down. I'd want to see us hold and continue to show signs of upward momentum. Now, if we do break that 270 level again, let's look at 260. Otherwise, if we break 260, we could be coming all the way back down here to 240 and potentially making new lows, but we'll just have to look at that when we get there. But right now, my preferred scenario would be that maybe we start to see some consolidation, a good solid support right in here, and then we push up to 3 or right around here from the 3 to 310 range, and then we can reevaluate and check on some more levels. But that is basically my outlook on NIO. Again, on the daily chart, if we're looking at a 1 year, 1 day, we are just above that 9-day moving average, and you can see it has been quite some time since we've really traded above it, and we've really seen it start to curl upward, but now could be a sign that we are starting to do just that. On the weekly chart, we are still trading below even the 9-day moving average on the weekly chart. I think if we were to continue upward, that would really be bullish if we were to break above this moving average on the weekly. And I'd be looking pretty positive if we were to start moving up here as well, but we'll just have to take that, week by week to really get a feel if we're going to start moving through. Right now, the bottom of that line is sitting around the 320 range, so right in that zone that we were talking about, 310, 310, and 320. So pay attention when we get there and see what buyers are doing. If there are any, we could just sell off from there and come back down, but hopefully that that helped you gain some knowledge or insight on where we're currently trading and what some levels are at the moment that we can look for. So let's go ahead and move on over to Tesla, which I did a video on just about a week or two ago. And what I was really looking at was this right here. So around this 185 mark was a very significant support. And we confirmed the bounce as I expected, and we are now moving closer in to this pretty steep downward trend line on the weekly chart. It looks as if we're pretty much halfway through it, but when we move it on into the 4-hour chart, you can see we're just about on it. So I don't want to confirm that we are through this downward trend starting from late of last year. But I do want to make a note that we are very close, and if we were to see a break through it, that could be a very bullish sign here on Tesla after such a long decay throughout the course of this year. So, since my last video, I think we were trading right around here in this 195 range. So we're up a pretty significant amount so far, roughly about, say, anywhere from 12 to 15%. So if you got in down here on this bounce, you're still sitting pretty, but where is it that we could see Tesla go? So you can see I have this resistance line put in right in here around the 230 level, and I mainly have that one in place because let's stay with the 4-hour chart. Hold on a second. Let's move back out. Because we saw it as a bottom here on the way down, and when we went to go retest it, we failed. So that is my initial resistance. And as well, we also had this wick from a couple of days prior. We busted through, got up to about 235, and then sold back down. So this will be definitely very difficult for Tesla to move through this level, as we have this downward trend line, and we also have this resistance level around 230. But if we can continue to push through it, that'll be a very bullish sign, in my opinion, and might lead to a significant amount of buyers that could really push us up to our next level, and that will be at the 260 level for me. So let's go ahead and move it back out to the weekly chart. So you can see right in here, it's not super perfect, but I threw in a level here at 260 because not only was it a top a couple of times in the past, but we've also seen reactions on it on the way down and then bouncing back up. So I'm looking at 260 roughly to be the next resistance zone if we push through this downward trend and this resistance line here at 230. 260 would be a good level, but I'm not saying we're just going to rip right up there. I think that it'll be kind of what we've been doing as of recent, kind of just a zigzag back and forth. But again, if you were to get in now, You're looking at about another 15% gain, but you have to be smart about it. We could just as easily come down here and you could be looking at a roughly 17% loss if you were to hold it all the way down and then hope that this support level held, and it could not. Tesla could just as easy be going on to make new lows for this year. So we really just need to pay attention to these levels as we come into these trades, and seeing what is it that the market's doing. What is it, is there any news going on with Tesla? And where is it that people are really wanting to buy? So let's just pay attention to that. But again, keeping these key levels for resistance. Let's go ahead and look at some support for Tesla. I would definitely say down here around the 210 level. Not that we would head all the way down there, but that is definitely a support level as we came down after we had the news come out here on Tesla. That they would be making, I believe it was a pickup trucks that would be just as good as the F-150. We had all of that come out, and we sold back off. We had people taking profits, and then we have moved back up. So let's look at the 210 level, and right where we're sitting right now, we can also say that that is a small support. If we were moving it into an hourly chart, you might be able to see a little bit better just within the last few trading days. So right around here at 225, we saw some good consolidation today. So if we can continue that push and push through the downward trend line in 230, again, very bullish. So both of these electric car companies, looking pretty good as of recent. Looking as if they still have a little bit more in the tank to give, but we'll just have to wait and see. So hopefully this helped you guys out with some levels. Let's look if we can break through the downward trend and the 230 level, and push all the way up to 260 here on Tesla. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helps.